Dasyphora fruticosa is the shrubby cinquefoil in the Rosaceae. The Rosaceae is a very important plant family, especially in the temperate zone. Not only is the family that contains the rose, which is probably the most popular and significant flower of all flowers, but it also is important because so many of our temperate zone tree fruits are in this family: pears, apples, peaches, plums, cherries, and even a non-tree fruits like strawberries and raspberries, all come from the Rosaceae. This particular species, Dasyphora fruticosa, does not produce a fleshy fruit that is edible. It produces a capsule. You can see, first of all, that it is a shrub. You can see part of the woody stems in the background. It is a plant of sandy areas, a plant of bogs and fens, so wetlands, acidic wetlands, and it is a C of 10, so it's only found in the highest quality ecosystems. It has a very long flowering time and flowers from May 27th through October 9th. Here you can see the close-up of the flower. It has 5 sepals that you can make out underneath the 5 petals. Obviously, you can't see all of the sepals. The 5 petals are free from each other. They're not fused. Having 5 sepals and 5 free petals is a characteristic of the Rosaceae. You can also see that there are many stamens. In fact, there are 30 stamens, which is a very interesting fact about this plant. And in the center, those are not undeveloped stamens. Those are pistils, and the pistils are free from each other. So there are many pistils as opposed to just one pistil, as we find in most of the plants that we've looked at so far. It has a very interesting pollination strategy, and I will read from the flora of the Chicago region. Nectar exudes from the hypanthium. The hypanthium is kind of a circular area that all of the sepals, petals, and stamens are attached to, into 5 depressions. Each of the 5 depressions occurs in the center of 5 groups of 6 stamens opposite each petal. The depressions are covered with long white hairs, which helps to retard evaporative water loss. Corolla-visiting insects glean nectar by rotating in stops around the corolla like the seconds hand of a clock. Visible between the petals, the basal portion of each sepal is extremely shiny and appears to possess fluid or nectar, but there is none. The flowers, interestingly, do not fluoresce under ultraviolet light, so the insect does not see it in a different way. We don't know for sure how the insect sees it. It may be closer to black to the insect than the yellow that we see it as, but it certainly doesn't shine in the insect's eyes like many other flowers that do fluoresce under ultraviolet light. Characteristic of this plant is that it has alternate compound leaves, and the compoundedness is palmately compound. So in the rose family, you almost always have alternate leaves. You can have simple or compound, but the compounded leaves are 5 leaflets per leaf, because cinquefoil is from the French cinquefoil, which means 5 leaves. So the shrubby cinquefoil has alternate palmately compound leaves, usually with 5 leaflets per leaf, sometimes 7. You can see from this map that it has quite a large range in the continental United States, and is much more common out west, even though New England is very dense with Dasyphora fruticosa, the shrubby cinquefoil. But what's more interesting about this plant is the hugeness of its overall range. Even though it's a C of 10, so you would think C of 10 means rare, but that C of 10 doesn't necessarily mean rare or endangered. It means it's only found in pristine ecosystems and will not grow outside of the ecosystem it's supposed to grow in. In other words, it has a weediness factor of 0. but it is not a rare plant. In fact, I have seen it in Glacier National Park that you see on this map in Montana. I've seen it in Alaska. I've seen it in Scotland. I've seen it in Scandinavia. And it does, in fact, even grow in northern China. So it has what you would call a circumboreal distribution in the north temperate zone. Dasyphora fruticosa, the shrubby cinquefoil of the Rosaceae, flowering now.